What if I told you being captured by the Aztecs was not the worst part? Pause. What came next was far more terrifying than death itself. Pause. Not just sacrifice, but a ritual designed to turn fear into power. Heartbeat gets louder. And the most disturbing truth. Pause. Some prisoners didn't want to escape anymore. Classical background. Low ambient jungle sounds. Long before Europeans set foot in the Americas, there existed a powerful empire feared, respected, and misunderstood. The Aztecs. Pause. At the heart of their world stood a magnificent city, Tenochtitlan, a place of beauty, order, and blood. Floating temples, endless canals, markets filled with life. But beneath this beauty, there was something darker. Pause. The Aztecs believed the universe itself was fragile. That the sun could die. That darkness could consume everything. And only one thing could keep it alive. Pause. Human sacrifice. Dark music deepens. New moon rising mystery. Wind howling softly. But hear what history often doesn't tell you. The sacrifices weren't random. They weren't just executions. They were carefully chosen, deeply symbolic, and terrifyingly personal. Pause. Because most victims were not criminals. They were prisoners of war. Captured alive. Pause. Why? Why not kill them in battle? Why bring them back? Pause. Because to the Aztecs a prisoner was more valuable alive than dead. Crossed main events, the capture. Battle sounds, distant shouting, metal clashing. Imagine this. You are a warrior. The battlefield is chaos, smoke fills the air, screams echo around you. You fight not to kill, but to survive. Pause. Suddenly, you're surrounded. You strike, you resist. But they don't kill you. Pause. They grab you. Hold you down. Tie your hands. Heartbeat sound returns. And that's when you realize something is wrong. Pause. They're not trying to end your life. They're trying to take it. Fire the journey to the unknown. Slow drum beats. You are dragged away from the battlefield. Alive, but not free. Pause. Days pass. You are marched through lands you don't recognize. People stare at you. Not with pity. Pause. But with curiosity. Even admiration. Pause. Why would they admire a prisoner? Pause. Because to them, you are no longer just a man. You are an offering. The twist begins. Dark music fades, eerie silence. Here, where the truth becomes even darker. Pause. Some prisoners were not tortured. They were treated with honor. Fed well, given clean clothes, even taught rituals. Pause. It didn't make sense. Why prepare someone only to kill them? Pause. Unless death was not the true purpose. Fearful face cliffhanger ending, part 1. Heartbeat slows. What if the Aztecs believed that fear made the sacrifice stronger? Pause. And what if the longer you lived, the more powerful your death became? Pause. But the most disturbing part. Some prisoners began to accept their fate. Pause. Some even believed they were chosen. Dark music cuts suddenly. Fire ending line plus CTA. What really happened to these prisoners was not just about death. Pause. It was about transforming a human into something the gods could consume. What if death wasn't immediate? Pause. What if your final days were the most important part? Pause. Because for some Aztec prisoners, death did not come quickly. It was delayed. Prepared. Designed. Classical the strange honor. Soft chanting in background. Not all prisoners were thrown into chains and forgotten. Some were chosen. Pause. Chosen for something far greater and far more terrifying. They were called Ixiptla, living representations of the gods. Pause. Think about that. A prisoner turned into a god. I becoming a god. Wind blows softly. You are no longer treated as an enemy. Instead, you are bathed, dressed in fine clothing, decorated with jewels. Pause. People bow before you. They lower their eyes. They treat you with reverence. Pause. For months, sometimes a full year. You live as a deity. Question two viewers. Ask yourself, if you were given everything, respect, comfort, power, but knew it would all end in a brutal death. Pause. Would you try to escape? Or would you begin to believe? Fire the psychological trap. Dark music slowly builds. This wasn't kindness. It was control. Pause. A carefully designed illusion. The longer the prisoner lived as a god, the harder it became to return to being human. Pause. Their identity changed. Their fear transformed. Pause. And slowly, resistance faded. Main events, the final days. Drums begin slow and heavy. As the final days approached, the rituals intensified. Pause. The chosen one would walk through the city. Crowds gathered. Flowers were thrown. Music filled the air. Pause. It looked like a celebration, but it was something else. Pause. A farewell. Broken heart, the most disturbing truth. Heartbeat returns. In some rituals, the prisoner was even given companions, sometimes wives, people to share their final days with. Pause. To create attachment, to build emotion, to make the ending even more powerful. Pause. Because the Aztecs believed, the stronger the emotion, the more valuable the sacrifice. Fearful face the walk to the temple. Wind grows stronger, drums louder. Then came the final day. Pause. The prisoner, now a god, walked toward the temple. Step by step. No chains. No force. Pause. Just acceptance. Warning cliffhanger moment. But here's the question that chills historians to this day. Pause. Did they walk willingly because they believed? Pause. Or because they had been broken so completely that they had no choice left? Volcano ending build up. Dark music intensifies. At the top of the Arabic Caliph, Arabic Lamb, Arabic Tain, Arabic Thought, Arabic Yet, Arabic Meme Temple. Priests waited. Blades ready. Crowd silent. Pause. And in that moment, everything changed. Fire ending line plus CTA. Because what happened next was not just a sacrifice. Pause. It was something so brutal that even today it feels unreal. The steps feel endless. Pause. Stone after stone, each one bringing you closer to something you cannot escape. Pause. Below, thousands are watching. Silent. Waiting. The altar. Heartbeat loud and fast. At the top stands the temple. The air is thin. Heavy. Sacred. Pause. Priests surround you. Their faces calm, almost emotionless. Pause. You are laid on the stone altar. Cold. Unforgiving. Cross the moment of sacrifice. Drums stop suddenly, silence. For a brief moment, everything is still. Pause. Then, sharp sound. The blade rises and falls. Pause. In seconds, your chest is opened. Your heart still beating. Pause. Is lifted toward the sky. Sun with face the belief. Low chanting begins. To the Aztecs, this was not cruelty. Pause. It was survival. They believed the sun, the very force that gave life, needed nourishment. Pause. And that nourishment was human blood. Fearful face the shocking truth. Dark tone deepens. But here's the truth that many don't talk about. Pause. The ritual did not end with death. Pause. What happened next is even more disturbing. After death, slow haunting music. The body was not simply buried. Pause. It was carried down the temple steps. Sometimes it would tumble, falling before the crowd. Pause. And then, it was taken away. Fire the Darkest secret. Whispering wind. In certain ceremonies, parts of the body were consumed. Pause. Yes. Ritual cannibalism. Pause. Not out of hunger, but belief. Brain the hidden meaning twist. Soft eerie tone. The Aztecs believed, by consuming the flesh, they were absorbing something greater. Pause. Strength. Power. Divinity. Pause. The prisoner who once feared death. Pause. Was now believed to live on. Inside others. Final question to viewers. So ask yourself. Pause. Was this pure brutality? Or a belief system so powerful it reshaped reality itself? New moon ending emotional close. Slow fading music. Captured. Transformed. Worshipped. Destroyed. Pause. Not just a death, but a journey. From human to God to something far darker. Fire final line plus CTA. And the most chilling truth. Pause. To them, this was not horror. Pause. It was necessary. What if the real weapon was not the blade? Pause. But the mind. Pause. Because the Aztecs didn't just defeat their enemies. They transformed them. Crossed flower wars, war for capture, not killing. Distant battle drums. There were wars where the goal was not victory. Not land. Not destruction. Pause. But capture. These were called flower wars. Pause. Battles designed to collect human offerings. Fearful face the shocking strategy. Imagine fighting, knowing your enemy doesn't want to kill you. Pause. They want you alive. Pause. That changes everything. Fear becomes different. More personal. More terrifying. Jigsaw the system behind it all. Dark ambient tone. This wasn't chaos. It was a system. A machine. Pause. Warriors captured prisoners, priests prepared them, the people witnessed it. Pause. Everyone had a role. Everyone believed. The real twist. Whispering tone. Here's the hidden truth. Pause. Many victims were not just random enemies. Some were elite warriors. Respected. Strong. Pause. Because the stronger the victim. Pause. The more powerful the offering. Exclamation mark question to viewers. Ask yourself. Pause. If your entire society believed that the world would end without sacrifice. Pause. Would you question it? Or follow it? New moon, the arrival of the end. Wind fades in. Then everything changed. Strangers arrived. From across the ocean. Armed with weapons never seen before. Crossed the collapse of a world. Chaotic battle sounds. When the Spanish came, led by Hernán Cortés, they didn't just bring war. Pause. They brought disease, destruction, and a new belief system. Skull irony of history, final twist. Slow, haunting music. The Aztecs believed they were feeding the gods to keep the world alive. Pause. But in the end, pause. It wasn't the gods who destroyed them. Pause. It was humans. Milky Way final emotional close. Silence, then soft music. An empire built on belief. On ritual. On sacrifice. Pause. Gone. Fire powerful final line plus CTA. And maybe the most unsettling truth of all. Pause. Every civilization believes its actions are justified. Pause. Even the darkest ones.